This is episode 59 of the After Gambling podcast. Welcome to season 4. Hey there, and welcome to the After Gambling podcast. My name is Jamie. I'm a former problem gambler, and now it's been over 9.5 years since I last gambled. So that's probably a good place to start. No, I didn't fall off the wagon. I didn't go back to gambling. This hiatus, I'm sure whenever people see a long hiatus, when it's kind of tied with somebody that has a background of addiction, they think, oh man, I wonder if things are going south. And I just want to ease those fears and say, actually, in my case, it's the complete opposite. Things are really, really good. Things are actually awesome in all fronts. Doesn't mean I don't have challenges. I have a ton of challenges. My day-to-day life is full of challenges, and I struggle with different things. But as I've said before, I just have better problems. And that's what I want for you. And that's why I continue to do this podcast. And so that's kind of the good transition here is, what am I going to do with the podcast going forward? And I think it's important to kind of understand my thoughts on how I've done things in the past, just kind of looking back. I really kind of treat this podcast as a book. And the different seasons, I use air quotes. You can't see those, but air quotes are really just kind of their own little book, or kind of like a segment. And so this next one coming forward, I'm going to continue to build on that whole concept that this is all about living life after gambling, after addiction, and really reclaiming your life and doing all the things that you always wanted and you always thought maybe gambling could help you get, but now doing it without those things. And so I'm going to share the things that I've just kind of learned and experienced in my life, the things that are helping me to be more successful in my career or in my personal life or with my mental health or in my family. And so I'm going to really dive into those topics. And this is not so much going to be focused on that whole how to quit gambling. I'll definitely still have people on. I love having the interviews. I know I have a ton of people in line that have volunteered to do interviews, and I know you love the interviews. So I'll definitely do those. And I think those are important. But even in those, I think it's important to hear the story because those are the things you can connect with. But then also I want those people to come on and tell their story about how things have changed, how things are better, how their life has improved since they quit. Because I think that's the message and that's the goal, right? The goal isn't just to quit. The goal is to quit and then use that as a springboard into furthering your life. So like I said, think of these things as books. And if you're still struggling, you can't quite get it. You have some relapses, you trip, you fall, whatever. Get back up. But I encourage you, go back to the beginning. Go back to those early podcasts. Listen to those. Those are the ones that are really going to be influential or helpful, hopefully, in helping you to quit those early days of addiction. And a lot of it is, that was a couple of years ago. I was closer to my last date back then. And that was really the focus, was those early episodes was to help people build a bridge, or to build a bridge for people to come across to get that help that they needed. And so those episodes are always going to be the best ones to focus on. And so cherry pick them, go back and find a topic and listen to it again. That's what I do with my favorite books. Several of my books, I've probably read them 4, 5, 6 times, or different segments of them. And when I'm having a rough day, I'll go back and I'll listen to a little section of that audio because it helps me. It helps me to go back. It helps me to better understand the topic. And I have a better understanding and better application to my life when I go back. So definitely go back, check out those early episodes, listen to the stories again, because sure, you heard them once, but you're going to come through it now with a completely different perspective. And you may pull one little thing out of that, one little piece, a little 5 or 10 second thing that I said or somebody that came on said. And that's going to be that little thing that you need to kind of move you to the next level. And now the other thing that I really want to touch on is the content. The one thing when I started this, I didn't have this grand plan of all the different things I'd get into, or now, looking back, some of the events I've been invited to or discussions I get into, those were not even on my radar. Some of them were probably hopeful that I'd get to that point where I'd be able to be part of a conversation going forward about how do we reduce harms, or how do we change things up to help people get help. So I'm now in part of those conversations. But the one thing that I haven't liked over the last few years, it was just part of how I built this, was that everything was on this After Gambling brand. For those of you that don't know, I am a marketer. I focus on brand. That's what I do in my day-to-day life. And as I became involved in more conversations and the topics that were coming onto my radar and that I was talking about got wider, I continued to do a lot of them under that After Gambling brand and on the Twitter handle or on the podcast, because that's all I had at the time. And that's where most of the attention, that's where most of the focus was. And so I thought that was the most influential place where I could do some of that work. But all along the way, I knew I needed to kind of separate those things out. And this is really a great point. This is kind of that fork in the road where this brand, the After Gambling brand going forward, is going to be strictly focused on how to help people quit and then how to help people live a better life after. Basically, all the things that I've done, learned, etc. It's the field guide, the Cliff Notes that hopefully people can get to the place in my life, in the place that I hope to be in 10 years, which is going to hopefully be even better, faster. And so that's hopefully that this will be that shortcut, that guide. But I'm going to focus just on that type of stuff. So all the stuff that's about gambling expansion or thoughts on what we should do to prevent people from developing a gambling problem in the first place, all that stuff's going to get moved into other projects so that this one stays very focused on that task of building that bridge to help people and then helping them along the way as they move forward, just as I wish was there for me 10 years ago. So those are the things you can expect to see from the After Gambling podcast or on Twitter or any type of blog post as we go forward. The other stuff I'm going to move. So if you're interested in those other things, it's still going to be there. It's just going to be in different places and on their own separate brand. So that, again, it can stay very focused so that the attention can be on one singular piece or aspect of this whole gambling thing, and the content doesn't bleed into other things. So by all means, if you're only interested in this, I love having you. Stay here. Don't worry about all this other stuff. But I want to bring it up so that if you are interested, you'll know where to get some of those other thoughts or opinions on different topics. So the first one is going to be, this is After Gambling. We also have Before Gambling. And this is where I'm going to put all my content and thoughts and ideas on, all right, how do we approach gambling in a way, legalize gambling in a way that prevents people from getting to the point that I got to and that many of the people that listen to this show got to. What can we do? What are those things that we can change, whether it's with regulation or operations or just education, which I think is a huge, huge part of this. All that type of stuff is going to go under that Before Gambling brand. So Before Gambling on Twitter. Haven't figured out if I'm going to do a podcast. It'll probably be a blog. May do a podcast because I love this format. It's a great way to communicate. It's definitely one of the ways that it's the best for me. I'm a good writer, but I overthink it. And it takes a long, long time for me to write a simple blog post. But again, so if you look out for that, and there's already a website up and there's a Twitter handle. So if you want, check out the Twitter handle. And I'll be updating and adding things to that Before Gambling that focus on the things that we can do to prevent people from becoming a problem gambler in the first place. Because I think that's an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. I absolutely believe that. I think that you're never going to help everyone, but we should help to prevent as many things as possible up front. And I really do think that by educating people, you can minimize the amount of harm experienced from gambling. So if you're interested, check out Before Gambling, and yeah, we'll go from there. The other project that I've started, which I am probably the most excited about, because it brings all of my little interest and expertise into one lane, is Dyve. And it's Dyve. It's Dyve Agency. And Dyve is a thought process, but it's also going to be a service provider where I provide advisory and consulting services around that intersection of brand, which, as I said earlier, marketing and brand is something that I love. And brand is just storytelling and all of the intricacies that go into positioning a brand and telling a story and communicating effectively. I'm mixing that, obviously, with the bigger arching goal of all my projects, which is to reduce problem gambling and gambling harm. So essentially, what can companies do? What can organizations do? What can people do to make sure that they're communicating effectively and in the best way possible to minimize the risk to their business, but also to the risk to their consumers around brand and brand messaging. And that's what Dyve's all about. So Dyve is going to be, like I say, that's my passion project. That's one that has always been kind of in the back of my head, and I'm really excited to go forward with it. And it's already opening some great doors in order for me to get in and to just kind of communicate from my lived experience, but also combine it with my deep expertise around brand. Because I think how you frame a story and how you tell a story, it matters. It just matters. I mean, we've all had parents say, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And there are so many people that are just trying to do some really good things, I think, but they just keep stubbing their toe. And a lot of it is just how they say it and the framing. And I think that this is an area that I can bring these two expertise areas of my life, being both the problem gambler and also kind of in the brand and positioning, and bring those together. Again, this is kind of a mix of everything, right? This is something that can prevent people from getting into problem gambling because we're going to fix some of the messaging, and we're going to speed up the process that they get to the bridge because we're going to fix the messaging. And it's just something that I think I can have a lot of influence here. I think it's something that I bring a ton of value to the people that I'm going to work with. And ultimately, like I say, all these projects come back to my North Star is reduce problem gambling and gambling harm. And I'm sure I've said it before, there are a lot of ways to do this. And I come at this and I'm willing to run down every path that gets to that ultimate goal. I'm not a person that looks at it and says, okay, look, there's only one way, and that's just to cut off all gambling. That's not my vision. That's not my thought. I'm a big believer in control the controllables, control all the things that you can control, because there are always things that are completely outside of your control. So with Dyve, like I say, it's something that I'm going to dive into, pun intended, I guess. And that's, I guess here I'll share a little bit about the naming of Dyve. It is kind of that thought on doing a deep dive, because that's really what I do. Whenever I do anything, it's a deep dive. And brand and problem gambling, I can't think of two things I've done a deeper dive in. But then the other side of it is I just love, hell, I'm recording this thing in my basement, right? I work from home. I'm not the big flashy corner office. There was a time that I thought that was what I really wanted, right? But I'm more of a dive bar, a dive hangout. I love the restaurants, the little nooks that are the local joints where you go in and the food is cheap and the people are nice and everything's delicious. And there's just that kind of cozy atmosphere to it. And that's kind of how I'm approaching this enterprise also, is that, look, enterprise, it's dumb to even say, it's just a little small business, whatever. It's a dive. It's just me. But there's so much passion behind it. And I think that's really going to carry through. I'm not trying to make this some massive enterprise. Wherever it goes, it goes. And it'll be kind of cool to see where it goes. But at the end of the day, like, hey, it's just me. I'm Jamie. I'm a former problem gambler that also knows a hell of a lot about brand and positioning. But I don't think that I know too much. And so like I say, that concept of Dyve, that's a little, I guess, behind the scenes that you get here only on the After Gambling podcast, behind the naming of it. And also it's short and easy, which makes for good social media stuff. It makes for good websites. And now I'm getting a little off track. But yeah, you can see that I love that stuff. I love brand strategy and marketing. And so this is a great way for me to kind of take my everyday work and use it for good. So if you're interested in that, again, it's at Dyve Agency on Twitter, dyveagency.com. You can find out stuff there. And yeah, I'm excited about it. And I guess I'll close my topic talking about Dyve, which is I'm going to work with a lot of people that have a lot of different interests. That's going to rub people the wrong way. And I already know that some people are going to say, oh, are you getting money from the industry? Oh, are you working with them? And try and throw stones. And frankly, I'm just going to say this up front. Jamie DGAF, I don't give a. Yes, I will work with anyone that I think has good intention, or that I think that I can work with to improve, to reduce problem gambling and gambling harm. And the moment that I think, okay, this isn't going where I think it is, Jamie's going to be out the door. I just don't care. I don't need it. That's the one awesome thing about this is, like I said earlier, my day-to-day life is great. My work outside of all of this is awesome. It's never been better. I don't need to do all this stuff. I do this stuff because it's my passion. It's stuff that I love. And would I absolutely love to make this full-time? Yes, of course. But if you think that I'm going to do stuff and sacrifice my morals and beliefs, and if you think that simply talking to people that have different views or different thoughts is sacrificing those beliefs, then I'm sorry. I appreciate your opinion, and this is where we will disagree, and I will continue to move along and do what I'm going to do because at the end of the day, it's all about intent. And unless you are me and inside my head and know what my intent is, and only I know that, my wife doesn't know that, my friends don't know that, you don't know, nobody knows what my intent is. And I will try to be as crystal clear as possible about what my intent is. But I just don't, I'm not going to engage. Like, it's just one of those things. I'm going to do what I'm going to do in the best interest of reducing problem gambling and gambling harm. And that's going to be it. So if that upsets you, I apologize. Hopefully you'll still listen to the after gambling stuff and focus on that stuff. And again, that's why I'm separating these things out, because I don't think, it's one of those things, I don't think everybody agrees on anything. And I think that's one of the things we see in our world today, is everybody gets upset about, this person, they're 98% awesome, and then they did this 2% thing that I either don't like or disagree with, and it's like, all right, they're a bad person. It's not so black and white. There are shades of gray in everything. It doesn't matter what we're talking about. There are always going to be shades of gray. So hopefully, like I said, if you disagree with me on certain things, hopefully you stick around for the other things that we agree on. Because there's so much good that can be done when you work together with people. And the other thing is just one thing I've done, and it's really been eye-opening. I mean, even in this podcast, you can listen all the way through, and you're going to see the evolution of some of my thoughts and how they've changed. And some of them I'll probably change back again and flip back and forth. But that's just part of it. And I'm going to touch on this in the next episode when we talk about 7 stages of grief. But I think it's a positive that I keep changing, and I'm not pegging myself in this one little area where I'm stuck. And it's like, all right, I can't go that way because I've already discussed this and I've already gone on record and said, I don't think this is a good idea. No, if I have new information that says, hey, there may be a path that this is a good idea, then I need to explore it. So yeah, that's what Dyve's going to be all about. So again, check out Dyve, check out Before Gambling. You're obviously listening to After Gambling. So those are the 3 main ones. I'm trying to think if there's anything else right now. I don't think so. I think that's going to capture just about everything. Oh, the last one is my personal Twitter at Jamie Salzberg. If you want to follow that, that's something I'm using a lot more with just my personal views and opinions. Feel free to follow along there. And again, feel free not to follow along, but that's something that I'm definitely using a little bit more. And so that's one of those places where if it doesn't fit the other things, I kind of comment or share or engage in stuff there. And I love to kind of use Twitter to kind of get a sense, get a temperature of how people are feeling or thinking. And so a lot of that will be done on my personal, so you can check that out. So that covers the different channels, different brands, and the topics I'll be talking about on each one. Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, feel free to reach out to me at any of those and say, hey, Jamie, wait a second, what's the deal? And I'll try and explain it a little bit more, but I think I covered it hopefully good enough. But then there's 2 last things. First of all, holy crap. Thank you. Thank you for listening. This is something that when I stopped doing some of the recordings, the numbers fell off a little bit. But then in the last 5 months or so, they just keep going as if I'm still putting out episodes, getting 5,000-6,000 downloads a month. And I started this thing 2 years ago on my birthday, almost exactly 2 years ago, February 8th. I released, I think, the first 3 episodes. And I remember I'd go to my GA meeting and be like, hey, we got 40 downloads. And my friends and I would all high five, and it was kind of cool. When I release this episode, this is going to push it over 100,000. And that doesn't take into account YouTube and some of the other places that the podcast is located. And that number, as I always say, it's something that I wish the number was 0. I wish there was absolutely no need for this podcast or similar podcasts where people are coming looking for answers, looking for help because they're struggling in an area of their life. But it's damn cool to know that it's helping, that people are listening. it's really cool to see that the growth continues. And I've heard, not only just gamblers and people trying to quit gambling, but therapists and other people that work in the industry are listening to the podcast, and it's helping them better understand the addiction, I think, which is something I'm extremely proud of, because I think it's hard to understand. I know when I had my friend that was gambling, I'm like, what the hell's wrong? Like, just stop. And I didn't understand. So to see that this has grown like it has, and 100,000 downloads, it's frightening in a way, but it's cool to see that that's 100,000 times where hopefully somebody's finished the episode and they either have a better understanding of how to help themselves or how to help others. And for that, I just think this is pretty damn cool. And the entrepreneur in me now says, well, 100,000, a million is right around the corner. So yes, I'm pretty motivated to continue to put out good content for you. But as I've said before, I'm not just going to talk just to get download numbers. But I think now I have some more stuff I want to share, stuff I want to talk about, books that have really helped me, resources that have really helped me. And that's what this is going to do going forward, is just give you other tools that have helped me, because I think if they've helped me, obviously there's something there and maybe it will help you as well. And then finally, I want to wrap this up by saying that I've changed one big thing that early on I was really putting off and avoiding, and that's providing an opportunity for people to support the show. It was something that I just wanted to do. I didn't want to do it to try and sell ads or do any of that. And I've had opportunities to put ads on the show. It's not going to happen. I see no fit there. But I am going to kind of support myself. And I have created a page. If you go to aftergambling.com/support, I think it's also the link on Twitter, aftergambling.com/support. There's some ways that you can support the show, whether it's just making a one-time financial donation. Like I said, think of this like a book. If this has helped you and it's not too much to come out and throw $15 towards it, that's kind of the cost of a normal book, right? And that's really what it cost me. Each month I pay $15 for the hosting of the podcast so that these stay on the air and they stay available to people. And there's some other minor costs that I have no problem covering. But I also know from listening to other people's shows and seeing their stuff that there have been times that I've just been like, man, I get a ton of value out of them. And I want to support them. So when those people, other creatives, creators come out with products, I've bought their products, or I've done some backing, some Patreon style stuff, just because I wanted to say thanks. And I started thinking, I'm like, I haven't provided people with that opportunity to thank me. And it's not expected, but I know when I do it, it's kind of that double win where I feel good because I know I've gotten so much value out of what they've provided me that, hey, it's a small little token. I'll buy their book or send them a couple bucks or whatever. And I know that was, like I say, that win-win. And I just, so it's a long-winded way to say that there are ways that you can support the show, whether it's buying a book, using an affiliate link, or if there are other resources that help me. That, again, those are affiliate links. So how those work, if you aren't familiar, if you're interested and if it's something you actually are going to want or buy, if you click the link on the website, I get a real small commission from it. It doesn't cost you anything extra. It's just a way that the provider uses to get more marketing and get new eyeballs and get their stuff to spread. So like I say, aftergambling.com/support. If you're interested in that, it's awesome, but don't worry about it. Like this is not a big deal. There aren't that many expenses. Again, it's just one of those things that I wanted to throw out there because it does allow some other things and other growth to happen in the future. But don't know what else to say there. Thank you. Well, I guess this is where I will wrap up episode 59, the kickoff to season 4. And just say, like I say, again, thank you for listening. And remember, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a lawyer. Gambling addiction is a serious, serious addiction, and you should seek out professional help. It's something that I didn't do early enough. And it's one of those things that, looking back, I definitely encourage people to go seek out a therapist. So many states now offer therapy that's just part of the state program, that it's free. So use those, especially because if you don't use them, That's how budgets get cut, because it's like, oh, nobody's using this problem. We don't have any gambling problems. When it's just the people aren't using them because they don't know about them. So look into that information, seek out help, seek out treatment. I'm going to give you as much advice as I can. But again, I'm just a former gambler. I'm not a professional. So keep in mind that this information is just for informational purposes. You should seek out professional advice for your specific situation. That's all from me. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. It feels so damn good to be back. And I can't wait to get this episode kicking up and get some of those interviews. I know Rob wants to come back on. Rob, one of the earliest guests, one of my good friends from GA, wants to come on and share kind of some updates. And there are so many other people that want to share updates, and I can't wait to have them on. I can't wait to share it with you, and I'm excited to see where this all goes. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next episode.